the bottom right of the map for SK Telecom T1, we have the Terran player in red.
SK Telecom T1 판타지.
The fantasy.
Yeah. It's the pants that you see. Fantasy.
It's like a mix between the panther and the fantasy, I don't know. Top left, we have a player that never awakes. He's starting for Team Azubu. It's not ST, no, it is.
Azubu Sleep.
I feel like a fantasy could be like a place where you sell. It sounds like a Korean place where you sell pants. They're trying to make a play on it. You come in there and get your pants at Fantasy.
Like, I will never forget the first time when I actually had an encounter with like the Korean language, not really having an F and always using the P. I told you the story, I think, before when I went to a cafe and I was looking at the menu and was reading like everything in like the English menu first. And they had frappes there, and I didn't know what a frappe was, and I was thinking about that for a very long time. I was like, I'm actually gonna get one. This seems to be like a Korean thing. And then I started to read like the Korean letters, and I realized that they were having real big problems translating frappe back into English. And it's very entertaining at times.
Yeah.
But yeah, in this game, despite all the difficulties with the pronunciation of nicknames, we have Fantasy in a position where he's up against a Zerg player. And this is a matchup that he really likes to play. He has a win ratio that is pretty insane for players of this caliber. 65% win ratio with 17 maps won and 9 lost, whereas Sleep, on the other hand, traditionally not the best Zerg versus Terran player. He has only a 41% win ratio with 5 and 7, but he had a pretty good run in the Premier League where he defeated Yong and Dream, both players with a 2-1. The only one that he lost against was Maru, and in that season, like, everyone kind of lost against Maru.
Yeah.
So it was pretty impressive by Sleep. He's a bit on the rise in the matchup, but given the statistics that we have here, it should be a really intense match between the two of them.
Consider also that Sleep has been preparing for this matchup quite a bit as a result of the matches he had to play in the Premier League, so could still be in shape for that. It's been a little while. But even still, I like his chances here still against even a strong player like Fantasy. Fantasy goes double Reaper into a CC, so he's going to get good scouting information here. He will see that Sleep has gotten gas. He will see how much gas he's mined, and he will be able to, with the second Reaper, confirm once more. Don't think he's going to get any kills here, but he has to pull. Oh, that was so close.
You know, with Sleep, actually, I always fall into this trap where I look at him and I was like, yeah, he's a good player, but I don't think he's going to make it, and then he surprises me, and this is kind of the mistake that I made for a long, long time. So I feel we should never really underestimate him. In general, if you look at the names and also win ratios, I would give Fantasy an edge here, but Sleep is a little bit like Avenge in that regard. You should not really count him out. He might surprise you, and Avenge earlier was very close taking down SOS. So this is going to... I hope this is going to go over the whole distance. I want to see 3 maps between the two of them.
I always like to see 3 maps. You see 3 maps, you really get to see the real depth between the 2 players.
Yeah. Talking about 3s, we have the 3rd command center going down here, right underneath the Overlord, not even hiding it. Hiding it in plain sight.
Exactly. Those are the great control, the great defense by Sleep against the Reaper pressure. He had so many of his units low on hit points, but Fantasy wasn't able to finish any of them off. None of the Zerglings, none of the drones, but he just defended everything so well. Very quick tumors drop there at the front. And I don't know why he keeps jumping up here like this. Okay, now he gets a good angle. The idea here is definitely to kill the Zerglings. Yeah, but he's just like crossing his fingers and jumping up the ramp a little bit.
Well, I feel he did a really good job with that. He knew that he had enough hit points on the Reaper to jump down if need be. Gives high ground vision to the Reaper on the low ground. He does the damage, takes down 2 of the Lings. Doesn't lose anything. Is annoying his opponent.
That I like more though, killing those tumors, forcing the cancel there. And this time he knows there's only 2. Kills both, tries to get a drone, and he's starting to do some damage here.
Yeah, you know, this is exactly what, because he did that early on. If he doesn't kill those 2 Zerglings initially, then he has a problem. Of course, with 3 Queens now, he has to be a bit careful, but he is doing so much. His unit control here is crazy, and we have 2 Hellions moving in. For Sleep, it's really... I mean, for Sleep, it's great that he was, from the start, going into a 4-Queen build. If not for that, he would have been in a lot more trouble there.
Yeah. And even still, with the rest of the Hellions coming up here, his 3rd base may be under a little bit of trouble. He's going to be able to stop Creep from spreading in that direction if he's on top of things. And even going to be able to engage these Queens just a little bit. I like how he micros the Hellions and not the Reapers most of it. Here come those Lings. The speed has finished. And he's trying to get us around here. He catches several of the units.
Yeah, but all of them actually escape again. He definitely did not play Warcraft 3.
Nope. And
I actually think he did a little bit. But
well, I'm sure he tried it once or twice, but slipping and sliding, the Hellions are the only ones to escape.
Yeah, he forgot all about the surrounds there. That was, yeah, he did not close that surround very well, but it looked a little bit like he would, Fantasy would lose at least 2 of the Hellions and 2 of the Reapers.
Yeah, definitely looked that way. He lost the Reapers regardless, but now he lost a little bit of his DPS, and he lost the units that can recover hit points. So the third base is definitely going to finish for Sleep, no problem. In fact, it's already done. And a Queen walks over there. We'll be able to connect the creep and start hitting injects.
You know, we had really funny nicknames in the past, and sometimes it doesn't really make a lot of sense why a player chooses a certain nickname, but I always wondered why he called himself Sleep. I mean, I get why you would call yourself Innovation, Avenge, or like anything there. It might be a little bit cheesy at first, but you are like, yeah, okay, I'm an Avenger. Like, you know, you might have watched the movie and then you're like, yeah, that's a cool name. Why would you call yourself Sleep? Like, yeah, my play is putting people to sleep, or like I'm always sleepy.
Maybe he just likes to take naps. I mean, some people really enjoy a good nap. I'm not really one of them. I don't sleep very often. In fact, sometimes I wonder if I sleep enough. But
no, it's just like, it's always surprising me. I mean, you know, with a play like Supernova, you know, like why you went for that, and
or even like an ID like Awake or Awakening. Sounds
yeah,
like
exactly.
Better than like Sleep.
But it's like Sleep. It's like, yeah, I'm putting you to sleep. I'm putting the viewers to sleep, which is definitely not his style. I mean, usually his games are quite entertaining, but sometimes I really want to what wins through the mindset.
You know what? We have 70 drones already here. He's really droning up heavily because there's no pressure coming off Fantasy. He's really run with the fact that he knows that there's a fast third CC. He saw it earlier, like you said, he hit it in plain sight. And I like how he's just like, okay, well, I already know this is happening, so instead of pressuring you, I'm just going to make a ton of drones and even take a 4th base now.
Yeah, and not only the 4th base. Scarlet, unfortunately, today with a loss at WCS NA, but she would be proud of Sleep here. The creep spread that he has insane. 10 minutes into the game is incredible, and he sends queens across the map to make sure they can spread the creep even faster. And if you look how he spreads it, he always has like several outposts of creep tumors where he has several of them, so the creep is spreading incredibly fast. He has 41 creep tumors already in the game, and that is pretty cool. That gives him a lot of map control and vision.
Yeah, he's spreading them in like 5 different directions right now. And with that, I mean, he's just basically getting every nook and cranny. And the push that's coming out here, he has enough Banelings to defend. He's got 16 more Lings on the way. Even getting Baneling speed and Burrow right now. I like his position more and more. I mean, he's basically just... He's playing this as safe as can be. It's like he knows the timing's better than Fantasy. Fantasy stems up here and kills a few tumors. And Sleep is like, yeah, well, so what? I mean, I'll just remake those.
There's not a whole lot that Fantasy can do at this point, and Sleep is playing a great game against his opponent. Overlords are going to go down, but there's not a lot that he can do. I mean, these scans that he's using, taking down creep tumors, but Lings and Banelings moving in. Even an Overseer coming in to scout Widow Mines. He's trying to connect with the Banelings. Nice micro support by Fantasy, but he's losing the Hellions, and now suddenly Marines are with the back to the wall, quite literally. The Medivacs are just boosting them away. But he didn't even take down all of creep tumors, and those queens will just replenish those immediately. So Fantasy not achieving a lot, but he has the 3rd base now, and he's going into 2-2. Problematic for him is that Sleep is already doing the same thing while heading into Aspire to add a couple of Mutalisks to his play.
Yeah. This is, I mean, the fact that he's allowed this 4th base to be up so long, so uncontested, and allow the tech, I mean, 2-2 is basically even with Fantasy here. And the Spire... Well, I think we're having some issues here. But anyways, the Spire, halfway done, getting Spinecallers just because he knows that there's aggression coming. And I think some of those are even in the main base. I just like the way Sleep's playing this. He sees the 3rd base early, drones up, then takes a 4th base so he can make use of those drones. His creep spread is so good that he buys himself enough time to get the Banelings out.
It's just a flawless game from a player that has not been pressured. Yeah. That's what's currently happening here.
He says, don't touch me, and I'm just going to keep doing everything exactly correctly.
Yeah. Fantasy did not really apply a lot of pressure. He was trying to do a bit with the Reapers and with the Hellions, but that is to be expected of a Terran player, and Sleep was just taking all the things that he could get away with. He was taking those spaces when he could. He has great mechanics here. He has really good injects. He is paying attention to everything else. Now we're going back into the game. And he's still trying to go for that 4th, Fantasy that is, but Sleep is everywhere. He's going into 2-2. The only thing that I would really like to see is an additional Infestation Pit just to make sure that he can head into the Hive and also get the 3-3 upgrades. That's the only thing that I'm missing here.
I mean, he's got so many Banelings. He's got the high ground there with Spine Crawlers. And he's missing Mutalisks against drop play, but as long as Fantasy's not using it, it doesn't matter.
with the vision that he has, he can have those units in position like as soon as he needs to, and the Spinecrawler is already protecting everything. And Widowmines with the hits here, getting a couple of really good ones off, but not good enough. Most of those Marines already gone, and the supply in general still in favor of Sleep. But Fantasy, of course, still a danger to him. 12 Mutalisks are now being built. Widowmine trying to burrow here. There's no detection. That Spinecrawler is most likely going to go down, and the Widowmine will get a hit off against those Zerglings.
He needs to actually pick up the Marines, though, if he wants to minimize the damage to himself.
Using the Medivac in the process, too.
Yeah, so that was actually pretty much a better trade for Sleep in almost every way. The high ground vision here making it very difficult for Sleep to engage now that his creep has been eliminated to the south. This grouping units in the middle of the map could actually be used so much more anywhere else, you know, dropping at the third base, running into the natural, trying to clear creep on the right side, or even actually just being with the main army, and that's what it looks like he's sending these Marines over to, while he sends a drop to take the watchtower.
Yeah, so far, Sleep definitely with a great game, but Fantasy, on the other hand, is still on 3 bases. And if he defends well against the 20 Mutalisks, he has a good shot of just barreling down on that 4th over and over again and taking it down eventually. He's on 2-2, the same amount of upgrades that we see for the Zerg here. Nice bailing detonate there, taking down a lot of the Marines for Fantasy. SKT1 player has to be careful here.
Yeah, he's looking a little bit shaky, and Sleep's play is looking so solid. The Baneling landmines, the Baneling rolls in. He's actually going to cut these units off with Mutalisks, it looks like, in the back. And some Widowmine shots are decent. The Mutalisks not quite able to catch up here, but they could actually go for the natural.
The Widowmine's not doing the best detonates yet. Oh, the Thor is gonna, he has to evacuate it somehow. But there are Mutalisks already. The Thor goes down, and that's a problem. All of those Medivacs are trying to escape, but Sleep is just moving in. He might be able to snipe another few of the Medivacs, while Fantasy is trying to stabilize, getting himself another base. And 3-3, of course, started. And that's the only thing that, as I said before, I'm missing for Sleep a little bit. If a Terran player gets 3-3, then things might go south, but with all the aggression that we see from Sleep, it might never come to this.
Exactly, I mean, he's just doing so much damage, he's always controlling the map, not able to keep his drones alive at the third base on the other hand. And look at his resource, he has 1800, 1800.
Mutalisks in the main base.
Yep, came with some add-ons here, nicely targeted, also going to get that turret. And doesn't look like a larva issue, I just don't know why Sleep is not spending all of his money. Well, he does only 4 larvae available right now. A lot of SCVs going down, several Medivacs as well.
I can tell you why, he's too busy killing shit.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, man. He's in the main base here, killed so many add-ons. And look at the supply, 197 to 136. Does not kill the eBays though, and like you said, that's the one thing Fantasy has going for him, is he does have those better upgrades.
Oh, and look at the army here, 33 Marines are left. We do not see a 5th base for Sleep just yet, but he might at any point drop another hatchery and trying to get that into the game. But with 4 bases already, he just has such a good income, and he's definitely using it. But he needs to be careful, because a 3-3 for a Terran player is dangerous. But the commitment to Mutalisks is insane.
Yeah,
he has
38 Mutalisks here. He's just trying to make sure his opponent's army size is so small, and he's just going to run here and do little things like... He could have even committed there to kill the command center. I don't know why he didn't. He was scared there was an army nearby, but there's hardly an army at all on the map.
He can commit as long as there's no 3-3 with the upgrades that he has. The armor upgrade, I feel as soon as the armor upgrade is done, he's going to go in and go for it. With the 1-1 against 2-2 Marines, that's something you can do. Infestation Pit is coming up. He's planning for the late game already, but he still has such a scary force on the game that he might as well take it. Now he's going to town at that 3rd base. Lings are spotting the drop, and I don't think that the command center will hold. He's actually moving into the main now that he sees the Marines moving in. But there is so much
and
DPS.
There's nothing here to defend. He goes straight for the armory, and he could actually stop 3-3 if he targets. That's not enough Marines. He runs away regardless. I feel like Sleep is actually playing this almost too safe with how many Mutalisks he has. He could actually commit a lot of these situations where he's just running away, but still the damage continues.
The damage continues to just rain down on Fantasy. Lings are now on their way into the main base since we have an incoming double drop by the SKT1 player. Controlling the choke point right now. A bit of an oversight here by Sleep, not sending the units all the way. He's still busy with the Mutalisks at the bottom, taking down the refineries.
3-3, so close to being done here. He doesn't realize it, of course. He has no idea. But he could have capitalized a little bit more had he known. He's
going into Hive, and that will allow him to go into his own set of upgrades. And now that the 1-1 is done, as I said before, he's actually committing to those fights. He's taking down the Marines, he's limiting their numbers, he takes down SCVs. We have a 40 supply lead still for him, and look at that money that he has. 2,000 minerals, 1,000 gas. He's moving in at the 4th base, not dropping a 5th just yet, but he's moving into the main base with the Mutalisks. At 2 fronts, he's attacking the Terran player, and Fantasy is hard-pressed here.
He really is. He's actually having to hold so many different locations at once, trying to split his Marines into the main base to save himself there. He is stabilizing a little bit now that he has 3-3, and the Marines are just really, really cheap to make.
Yeah. He's burrowing a Baneling here. He's going for the +2 armor upgrade for his air units, and that's already signalizing, I want to fight with those guys. I don't want to go for the hit and run. I actually want to fight you with them. 3-3 has been started. Fantasy, of course, with the upgrade lead, and he's doing a great job at defending so far. He's still on 4 bases. He's trying to establish that one base to the left side of the map, but he is really trying. Problematic for him is that we have just a Subu Sleep in complete map control, but Fantasy is not giving up here.
No, he's not. And he has that 4th base secured, finally. I mean, it took him a little while. He's got a few army units over there, and I believe it's now finished completely as a planetary. Losing some medevacs on the other hand.
Fantasy is doing a great job staying alive here. Widow Mines everywhere. Once again, that 3rd base is being attacked. He's moving in with Marines immediately. Fantasy with a defense, but he has a hard time trapping those Mutalisks. He wants to put them between a rock and a hard place, but he's not able to make that happen. He has to have those Marines committing at one point. 100 Zerglings now for Sleep also on the map.
Speaking of Zerglings, here they come. Yeah, they go right into the natural here. Does get walled out for a second, but it looks like he's actually just going to commit to the 3rd base with his Mutas after the Banelings come in. And here they come. Here come those Banelings.
The Banelings moving in, and Fantasy is splitting his armies, defending at the national and the 3rd base at the same time. The Mutal is doing that damage. Most of the Marines are already gone. 43 left. A lot of those at the double drop to the top, but GG as Sleep